Hi everyone, and today we're going to look again at this book, wonderful book, Fat is a Feminist Issue by Susie Orbach. Now this was a significant book in my own healing journey, overcoming compulsive eating over 20 years ago. And I've been naturally slim ever since, so there's definitely something in this book that is worth exploring if you are dealing with a problem of compulsive eating. It was written in the 70s and it very much looks at women's rights. And I like to explore just how much things have changed, if they've changed, and even to address this as a topic. Women in a patriarchal society. I think it's a fascinating topic. I certainly want to study, and that is what I did. Once I came across this book, I started to study it and put into practice what it taught. And therein, I was able to overcome my compulsive eating and bulimia and become naturally slim. So let me read a little bit about a little bit of it so you can get an idea of the flavor of the writing, the type of writing. I have my own books on recovery from compulsive eating and addiction as well, but they're a very different voice. All writers have what's called their own individual writer's voice. So Susie Orbach's voice is very different to mine and to the other authors in the field. So this will give you an idea of where she's coming from. And if you like that sort of tone and content, then you can by all means buy that book and study it, because it will really, really help you in your journey of recovering from compulsive eating. Okay, so here we are on page 43. For the compulsive eater, fat has much symbolic meaning, which makes sense within a feminist context. Fat is a response to the many oppressive manifestations of a sexist culture. So she's already there saying that we live in a sexist culture. And again, she's talking about the 70s and probably, the decades before that as well. And it's up to you to decide how much or how little we have changed, or how you see the effects of that within your own experience of living in this culture now in 2022. Fat is a way of saying no to powerlessness and self-denying. Fat offends Western ideals of female beauty, and as such, every overweight woman creates a crack in the popular culture's ability to make us mere products. Now, these are hard-hitting statements, and I love them from the get-go, because she really makes you think, wow, are women really being treated as products? In what way do you feel you're being treated as a product in your life or in society in general? Fat also expresses the tension in the mother-daughter relationship, the relationship which has been allocated the feminization of the female. This relationship is bound to be difficult in a patriarchal society, because it demands that the already oppressed mothers become the teachers, preparers, and enforcers of the oppression that society will visit on their daughters. Now, again, hard-hitting stuff there, really, isn't it? But so interesting. This is why I found this such an interesting book, and it really provokes thought. So we have to look at, well, what is a patriarchal society? Where is there evidence of that? Where is that showing up? And what is woman's role in society now, as decade upon decade has passed since 1970, when there was the feminist revolution? And again, it doesn't mince words. It really gets to the point, and she states that women were oppressed. So if you were talking about a woman that was in her 20s or 30s in the 70s and struggling with a weight problem, maybe she had different issues than a woman struggling with her weight here in Western culture in this day and age. But it follows through what comes through from generation to generation. She highlights the point that the mother-daughter relationship is going to be strained. It's going to be a difficult relationship, because if you're oppressed in any way, shape, or form, subtle or overt, and you're a mother, it's going to sort of flow through in that relationship. There's going to be an ambivalence about your daughter's freedom. Seeing her have more freedom than you ever had maybe can cause even jealousy, which is a very difficult and painful and dysfunctional emotion in the mother-daughter dynamic. So that all has to be healed. So you see how this is not simply about what we eat or what we don't eat. It's all about the emotional stuff and these deeper dynamics. And I was not able to lose weight permanently until I was able to learn about this and uncover those deeper issues and heal those deeper issues within my own life and within myself. So it's important. I think this is an important book because it highlights those issues. These are not mainstream issues, and not issues that people readily talk about or are even aware of. I wasn't aware of them until I read this book. And it's still relevant today. It may have to be adapted a little bit. There may not be as much oppression. There may be a lot of freedom. And of course, it depends on the individual woman, how much freedom she has within her own family environment. So it's really redefining a lot of things, but I still think it's an absolutely fabulous read. So, yes, there's one final paragraph here on page 45. An examination of the symbolic meanings of fat provides insight into individual woman's experience in patriarchal culture. Fat is an adaptation to the oppression of women, and as such, it may be an unsatisfying personal solution and an ineffectual political attack. It is to this problem that our compulsive eating therapy speaks, and it is within a feminist context that this is developed in the following chapters. So there again, an absolutely fascinating read. Our fat has symbolic meaning. So this is unknown to most compulsive eaters, to most people that wander into the weight loss club and hope that it will do the trick. And, you know, in my experience and in many of the people's experience that I've worked with, we lose the weight and then regain it if it is just done like through a diet club without this deeper looking into what's really going on. So that's why I encourage the emotional resolving side of things, and again just tapping into when you're actually physically hungry and when you're actually physically full, and abiding by those inner dynamics. We all know what we should be eating and what we shouldn't be eating. Most of us know when we're full and when we should stop eating, but the main question and the main mystery is, why is there a compulsion to eat beyond physical fullness? And therein lies the answer in books like these. It's because there's another driving force there, and that is emotional, and that is about our place in society, and that is about our experience as women. So, yes, there we go. I will leave it at that. Again, I can only recommend this book really highly. Fat is a Feminist Issue by Susie Orbach. And my own book, Simply Full, and that's on Lulu, Lulu, onlinepublishing.co.uk. That's about £5, that one is. And I've got my other books there. If you click on my author page, you can see all my books. There's other self-help books, and there's a few novels there as well for your summer reading. So yes, hope there was something in there that was of use to you, and see you next time.